Hello and welcome to Purple Fox Gaming. Today I'm going to be playing a bit of World of Tanks today. I'm just going to show you through my garage before we begin, just in case when I do go into a game I end up getting killed within a few seconds of joining. Just going to take you through, and I must say I'm enjoying the Chinese tanks so far. I may decide to play this, haven't actually decided what tank I'm going to play yet, but this is the tier 3 Chinese tank, which is actually a Japanese tank, but been badged as a Chinese tank, and they're quite fun to play. I mean, they're not the best tanks in the world, they're not the worst, but they're quite fun to play. And obviously you've got my German tanks here. I've got a Leopard here, which is probably my favourite tank. The only problem with it is that it's very hard to play. I mean, some of you guys may be great at playing light tanks, but once you get up to the higher tiers, and there's literally going to be one light tank on your team, and the purpose of that light tank is to scout for your team, to give away enemy positions and stuff. And because this tank, it can't really shoot anything. If you try and shoot someone with this gun, it's really not going to do anything unless there's another scout there. Pretty much as soon as you go into a KV1, it's going to be one shot, one kill. But however, I've got my British tank here, which I quite like. A few people say this tank isn't that great, but I think it's okay. I mean, the armor isn't great. The firepower is pretty terrible, actually. I know I said it wasn't that bad, but it isn't really. It's just that the firepower, the actual turret's pretty weak and stuff. But then you've got my American collection here. I've recently purchased this T2, and I'm pretty much enjoying it. It's not an excellent tank. I mean, you can see it's pretty poorly designed in terms of tank design. It's not very low profile. It doesn't really have particularly strong armor, and it's quite big really. And you've got the T18 here, which is a funny story about this. It's not particularly funny, but I was playing a game with this. There was 3 of these tanks on the enemy team. They're tank destroyers, and we pretty much got owned. It was going quite well to start with. We were thinking, oh, actually we've got this one in the bag, but as soon as these T18s came out, we got absolutely destroyed. The reason I say this was because if you look at their armor rating, 51mm frontal armor, that's quite a lot for a tier 2 tank. I mean, the argument is that it's got pretty low hit points. The rear armor's not particularly good, so depending on what way you look at it, it's quite a hard tank to destroy. However, I have played a couple of games in it, and I think the first time I did play it was a tier 2 game, just like how our team got destroyed, and I got 4 kills. As soon as I went into a tier 3 game, however, I got 1 kill and pretty much got destroyed after that. But if you compare that to other tanks, say I've got this tier 4 Hetzer here, German tank destroyer, and that's got 6mm of front armor, and even worse side and rear armor than the T18, so arguably the armor on this thing is pretty much better than a tier 4 German tank destroyer, which is quite interesting. And again, say look at this one, T25 premium German tank, and you've got 50mm of frontal armor, so that's worse than the T18. So it's quite interesting just to compare some of those to the differences, just to compare what they're like. However, this tank, if they do penetrate your armor, you are pretty much dead. But otherwise, apart from that, if you know how to play this tank well, it doesn't really take much to get it's quite good. But I'm not going to play this tank because it's probably not going to be a particularly interesting one to watch. However, it depends what game I get into. I mean, if I end up going into a tier 3 game, it's not going to be that great. So I'm going to choose, probably I think this time I'm going to go with the Chi-Ha Japanese tank, just because it's 8.3's just been released, it's the Chinese tanks and everything, so good idea just to showcase some of the Chinese tanks. However, this is Japanese. But enough of that. Continue with, I think it's a Chinese tank. Hopefully it won't take too long to find a battle. In fact, I don't think I've ever had it take this long to find a battle. Usually it's literally you click battle and you go straight into one, but here we go. In Himmelsdorf. Hopefully this won't be too bad. I'm going to first just make sure my volume's turned down. So I think I was recording this earlier, then when I heard the volume, it was pretty much deafening compared to my voice, even though it was pretty low. But however, let's continue. So you can see this is a tier 3 tank. It's pretty ugly, I think, in terms of tank design. It doesn't look that nice. What kind of interests me is you've got this like rear gun on the back of the Tut, and I don't actually know if that's obviously you can't use it in World of Tanks, but I'm just wondering if that can actually be used. Because kind of what the Japanese, I suppose, would do is usually have like a dummy gun on the back, so like if you encounter it in the rear kind of thing, then you also think, oh no, it's pointing right at us, and kind of scare you a bit. So I don't know what the logic is behind that, but it's got this a pretty large tank, really. It's a light tank. It doesn't have that many hit points. Hopefully we won't get killed instantly. I'm hoping we will at least hit a couple of people before we do die. But usually what happens with me is I get absolutely owned in this game. It's fun for me to play, but of course if I'm rubbish at it, it's not really as fun for spectators to watch me. It isn't like quite a fun tank to play. Got a few tanks up there. Don't think I'm going to be able to hit them though. So the accuracy of this gun is pretty rubbish actually at this range. That guy there, that's a American tank destroyer that just pretty much
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
that tank up there. It like pretty much destroyed in one shot. So the American tank destroyers aren't really that bad overall. I mean the T-18 obviously is pretty good, so I've always kind of gone with like the German tank destroyers, thinking it's like German engineering and everything. Let's just move away from that wreckage of the American tank destroyer. Have got one kill though, that's not too bad, but I think our team's pretty much being owned. In fact, it was like pretty much the only person to kill someone so far. I think there are probably still people up there, so I'm not really sure what to do, because most likely they've just gone off the radar kind of thing, so I'm going to try and avoid them. Looks like this is going to be pretty much a wipeout in terms of our team, unfortunately. Just going to help this guy out because he's under a bit of fire there. British tank. Let's just see what's going on. He's hiding behind the wreck of his friend. Can't quite make him out though, because there's like, oh, he is down there.
Enemy is hit.
Didn't do any damage then. He can't really go anywhere though, can he, really?
Enemy is hit.
Can't do any, I'm not doing any damage, it's like not penetrating. Oh, he
Enemy
did
armor
then.
is hit.
That wasn't a bad shot actually. If I do say so myself, this gun isn't that bad. It does quite fairly good damage. It does more damage than my T2, but this is a tier 3 obviously, so damage isn't that great. The only worry is that obviously if I can't penetrate his armour. Did he just kill that guy, that Marder? Don't think it is a Marder, it's the one before the Marder. Panzerjäger or something. Don't know how to pronounce it at all. I'm just trying to hunt down this guy. Now he's gone off the radar, which isn't good. Well, we've kind of turned the tide of battle a bit here. It's gone from pretty much we're being owned to we're not doing too badly. In fact, we've almost just captured their base, so think we're going to win this, actually. I may suddenly get ambushed and destroyed, but if we win, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, we've got this one in the bag. I've actually recorded this a few times, a bit of World of Tanks gameplay, and got completely killed, so that was using my T2 actually, so I thought maybe just change it up a bit, use a Chinese tank, and what do you know, I've actually done rather well. We've killed one and we won the game. So let's just look over some of the damage records we've got. Yeah, we destroyed a BT-7. We detected damage to the allies, that's not too much of a big deal. We did critical damage, that's not bad. So thanks for watching my quick video on World of Tanks today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe. See you next time, guys.